All right, we should be good to go. And we'll go back to the S&P for a minute. What's today? Monday, right? Monday, April 24th. What's good, Allie? What's going on? Why are candles green and red again? Well, so I've recorded some content and I think it's easier to teach on YouTube with this schematic, this color scheme, than it is with the black and white, or the white and gray. With this one. And I have no idea what is marked up over here. We got a bunch of shit going on. We can keep this one, but I'm not live trading today. I did a lot this weekend and I decided not to do anything today, so but we can go gray. I'm just gonna flip this around though. And I gotta take off the one watermark. Okay. Because for this one, I already have my name at the bottom right of your screen, so I don't need my chart to have my Instagram on it. So instead, I'm putting time, price, and context there at the bottom, which is also what I had on the other chart set up as well. But we can keep this. And I wish we could listen to music that was copyrighted because I'm fucking jamming right now. But hey, you're gonna have to listen to your own music. YouTube and their bullshit. YouTube and their shenanigans. But I get it. So I'll give you my thoughts. But, you know, last week we slaughtered it. Everything that we talked about hit. So when you have something like that, you really have to relax. You can't put your pedal to the metal because it's only a matter of time before you take a loss. So when you're on a win streak, you just have to be mindful of that. So, you know, still like stick to your rules and everything, but the moment you get cocky, the moment is when you fall off. So I'm being cautious today. I'm being cautious today, and I'll walk you through what I think is next. What's good, Nikki, Vadu, Naruto? Came to like the video. I'm working on painting job this week, and my client is here while I paint, so I will not be participating on the stream. They will likely be the case for the next few days. Very nice. Very nice. Tell your client to learn how to trade. Be like, hey bro, we're gonna paint some shit while we paint some candles. You know what I'm saying? That's the real painting. It's the painting of candlesticks. So, more life advice from John Fib. But anyway, let me walk you through this real quick. I think this is an important area for price action. If you look at the 1 minute, it is ridden with gaps and imbalances. Do you see that? That is pretty rough. That's pretty rough. On a 1 minute time frame. Gap, gap, gap. So, what do you do with that information? Well, if price happens to be bullish, we don't need a new high as a target. You don't need a new high as a target. Like say 41.66, like above those highs. You don't need that. But what I'm looking for is really what I want to see is us come into this and then tank lower. That's what I really want to see. But to get here, I think it would make sense is if we've shifted from bearish to bullish, which again, I'll explain in a moment as well, then that's fine. But we don't want a long as prices going up. We want a long as prices going down. So this to me would be a discount on price from this low to this high. You have an imbalance here. You have a potential mitigation here. You have these two down candles here, and you have this fractal low down here. So what would make me want to trust this as the low? 41.39 is when you look at, if you zoom out a little bit, you do have this low down in here, which I think could be a longer term target for shorts. But given what it's done today, you have London's low here, and you have a higher low here at 11.10. Okay. When you look at the NASDAQ, it's doo-doo. So London, that 215 low on S&P that I pointed out, or I mean, either low, you could take either one and look, and at 10.55, 11.15, it's lower. So it's like, okay, well, the S&P isn't going lower. It's staying afloat. The 15-minute looks kind of not all that great. So to me, it's just like, all right, I could justify a long in here. But at the same time, if you look at E-mini, so I just showed you the micros, but if you look at E-mini, the E-mini actually has equal lows down here. So that's what I'm saying. I feel like we ran up high a few times. We completely collapsed lower. This area is fucking ridden with imbalances. So I feel like, okay, we could trade up into that imbalance and then rip lower for these lows. That could also be an intraday idea as well. But the biggest thing with that is the time constraint. So because you're gonna ask for a really big move in the second half of the day, which is possible. It's not always impossible. You know what I mean? Like anything can happen, as Mark Douglas talks about. But it's just the more you demand in the smaller amount of time, the more unlikely I think that becomes. So in other words, where price is at right now, I think it's in between a long and I think it's in between a short as well. See what I mean? So what do you think that entails? If we can justify it going higher, but we can justify it going lower as well, you know, that's not taking the probabilities and using them in your favor. It's kind of going against probability. So could you still trade it? Well, of course, you can always trade it. It's just your expectations have to be lowered. And I already told myself I'm not going to live trade today. I'd be willing to take this on a paper account, just to see if we're right, because it's a decent time. It's 12 o'clock. We're in the afternoon session. So it could be something. So we'll have to watch it and see. We'll have to watch and see. So the idea, and again, this is not financial advice. So this is not a signal service. This is not, you know, no shit like that. 41.45 and a quarter with a stop at this low. It's going to be hard to frame a 1 to 3 off of that unless we tighten that stop or aim for a new high, which again, I don't think is likely. So if we're just targeting these imbalances here, we're either going to have to tighten the stop on a 5-minute, or, and we did this last week, and I know Josh did this too, is we can wait for a reaction on the 5-minute if we get one, and then take a 1-minute entry to get, like, to frame a 1 to 3 idea. So I don't know, hard to tell, but I guess we'll have to see how it goes. You'd have a small gap right there at 43.5, but yeah, I'm just not sure. All right, we'll just keep on the 5 minutes today for this. We'll see what we do, but even this is not a 1 to 3. But I'll keep that up there just for right now. And then we'll watch this as we continue. But again, this is not, you know, legal advice, financial advice, or anything like that. So if you press buttons, that's 100% on you. But I am not taking this, for full transparency, I'm not taking this on a live account right now. So there's that. What's good, Tiago? Today my horse is NASDAQ 100. The NASDAQ 100 is lower today, below Friday's low. So just coming off that a little bit. So our low of the day could possibly be set. But the other side of that is we took Friday's high this morning as well. So again, with conditions, right? We've taken liquidity and traded lower. And then the inverse is said as well. We've taken this low and now we're back within the range. So conditions like that on the NASDAQ, I would not press any buttons on the NASDAQ. If I had to, it'd probably be long. It's the weakest index today, so long would probably be a no-go as per the top 10 smart money trading rules that I put out last week. The only justification for that is likely this imbalance here. But again, that's our weakest index today. I don't want to touch that. For longs, at least. Dow, similar story to the S&P of what I told you, how we traded a lot lower and we left behind this imbalance and some short-term highs. But, I mean, look at this, guys. What the fuck? Real quick update, the 33,803 level we marked out last week, that is our current low of the day. So that alert went off for you guys, or you probably woke up to that alert like I did, because that happened at 1 in the morning. So it's always great. But nonetheless, we still looked for that last week. We got it. So it's still a good study. The timing, I think, is horrendous, but it's still a good study because, you know, there are people who think, oh, last week was this, last week was that. Last week was me calling fucking trades left and right, and they all smacked. So unless we just got super lucky over and over and over again, you know what I mean? People are fucking crazy. Oh, conditions this, conditions that. No, it's just you don't know how to trade these conditions. And if I didn't, I would have been fucking wrong a lot last week. But I wasn't. So, you know, is price really all that difficult? Not if you know the conditions that you're in. But not that I wanted to wake up and choose violence this morning, but I'm just saying, other people, you know, you get on Twitter and all you see Monday morning is fucking threads and advice and this and that. It's like, where are the trades? How about you call a trade? How about you calm down with the fucking thread and call some trades, some setups? You know what I mean? Where's that? Where is that? But nah, let me post a thread and beg for likes and retweets. Fuck a retweet, bro. How about we re-enter some fucking trades? How about that? You know, let's mark up a chart, not marking up a timeline. You know what I'm saying? We should start a fucking podcast around this bitch, bro. We should start a podcast. 100%. And just talk mad shit. Just talk a bunch of shit. You know what? Welcome back to the Indices, because I want to take a look at some other things. Just for a minute. We'll take that off. We don't really need that there anymore. All right. This is why we don't look at Swiss franc all that often, because it's doo-doo. It is doo-doo. As far as dollar index, here's another thing too. Is that right? Hold on. If the dollar, if it continues to slide lower, that I think would also indicate, at least on an intermarket basis, higher indices. So there's like slight justification there on dollar for higher indices, but y'all already know I'm not the greatest with that. The dollar index just has a very toxic relationship with indices that I don't care for. I trust relative strength more than I do intermarket. Now with currencies, that's a different story, but dollar with indices, no, not my area of expertise. You know what I mean? And that's another reason why I decided to take today off. Not just because I had a fun weekend, but because look at this daily time frame. You know, it's not all that delightful. So I don't know about today. You know what I'm saying? Guys, real quick, drop a like on the video if you've gotten any value so far. And that would be greatly appreciated. It gets us on the algorithm, hopefully, and it gets us noticed a little bit more. Here on this channel, we don't usually get fucked up as some other YouTubers or some people on Twitter. So we look for high probability setups only. So, you know, there is that. That's all I'm saying. All of the live sessions are in the recordings too. So, you know, if you ever think that I'm bullshitting or whatever, you can prove me wrong. You could go into history and be like, nah, you're not accurate at all. But you got to come with proof, though. You always got to have receipts. Always. Whenever you have an argument, bro, you got to have receipts. I've done some pretty shady shit before, and I won't get into it, but just know that when I used to get into arguments, I had screenshots of conversations. So, oh, I never said that. And then I'd send them a screenshot of their own fucking conversation and be like, do you want to change your story on that? I just caught you in a lie. Argument is over. There's no more argument. You got. Never argue without receipts, folks. Never argue without receipts. Rule number 1. Rule number 1. I think last week, something not ideal conditions like now, unsure of buy or sell. Well, last week we weren't the most confident, but we still called Swiss franc and dollar lower, and then NASDAQ higher, I think on Wednesday, and then lower in the afternoon. And then Wells Fargo also still rallying as well. So, you know, we were doing a lot last week. And I'm glad Wells Fargo's over 40. I'd like to stay there. I'd like to stay above 40. I wouldn't want us to come back down. We totally could. I just wouldn't want to see that. We hit an imbalance on Friday. We wicked it. So I think we could still see higher pricing for Wells Fargo. JP Morgan's not giving us any retracement. So that's cool too. At least as of right now. So we'll have to see how it goes. But yeah, we've been looking for that too. But yeah, look at this daily time frame on the S&P. It's gross. We're right back literally in the middle of this range. It's disgusting. So what do you expect in consolidation markets? You would expect exactly what you're getting on NASDAQ. Running highs, back into the range. Running lows, back into the range. So when price is at extremes, yeah, that's going to be high probability. That's how you trade consolidation markets. Everyone tells you not to trade consolidation markets. Well, that's because they don't know how to do it. And that's real shit. There's nothing wrong with consolidation markets. It's just you have to wait for price to get at an extreme. So this liquidity down here, when price met that, price was at an extreme. Because look, we took upside liquidity, we had one retracement, and then we just gunned lower and lower and lower and lower and lower. Now price is at an extreme. And then what takes place? It reverses. Okay. It's as simple as that. That's how consolidation markets work. They run liquidity and trade back into the range. So although it may not be like banger setups, you're not going to be hitting home runs. You'll still be able to take some trades. You know, those people who post their history, their trading history, they're like, oh, I didn't take a trade all week. You didn't take a trade all week. Oh, that's discipline, bro. Discipline? What do you mean discipline? Trade setups happen every day. And you sat out 5 days in a row. That's not discipline. You either don't know what you're doing or you do know what you're doing, but you're too wuss to pull the trigger on a trade. Discipline. It makes no fucking sense, man. People make no fucking sense to me sometimes. I didn't take a trade in 2 weeks, bro. You're bragging about that, really? You're bragging that you didn't trade, that you didn't take any trades in a week or 2 weeks? That's not something to brag about. I mean, but look, maybe I'm just me. I don't know, but that's how I think of it. I mean, the point is to trade, and then you purposely don't trade. It's like dating a girl and then saying, oh, we haven't been on a date in 2 weeks. The fuck are you dating for then, bro? It don't make sense. Alice says 5-minute divergence for indices. I think so. Well, the one I already showed, like here, I think is possible, but we are spending a lot of time doing nothing. Let's go back to ES. That's the one that has the markup on it. We spent a lot of time doing nothing. It's been almost an hour, and we've been in like a 2 or 3 point range. Three and a half points at the max. Yeah. So almost an hour, not even a 3 point range. Gross. You want to talk about impatient? I get impatient as fuck when price does that. So we're consolidating on the daily, and then we consolidate on an intraday basis. So now it's like the lowest of the low probabilities now. Daily range, and then intraday range at 50%. It's disgusting. You want to talk about low probability? Yeah. That's that. So since you guys are here, and we're getting a little bit more viewers than normal anyway, which is great. I appreciate that. Let me just unhide, or let me hide everything real quick. So let's just say we don't come back down for this area. 41, 45. Let's just say we don't come back for that and we rally up instead. I would want to see that imbalance up here traded into, and then I would like to see price run away from that. If it trades through it, or if it spends a lot of time in that, I think that would disqualify shorts, and I would, I guess, think it was maybe long then, but we won't know until we get there. And just so you guys are aware, the ES down here at 41.33.5, the ES, okay, so the E mini S&P has low resistant lows there, and the micro, however, does not. So the micro has a different low. So how high probability is that? I don't know. So I usually don't care when the same asset does that. Like E-mini to micro or whatever, I don't like that. So price has finally broken out of that 2-point range, and it's given us 3 points now. So that's cool. So again, I want to see what we do when we get in here. Okay, so if you go down to that 1 minute time frame, this is the reason why I think price should trade back into this, because this repricing lower, okay, from 41.64 to the 47s or 48.50s area. This is a 1 minute time frame, but in a 5 minute time frame, this is a single candle. This is just one candle straight down, and all these gaps in here, that to me would signify that price would need to rebalance those. I mean, it doesn't need to. Price doesn't need to do anything, but I think it would make the most sense to do that. And now we wait, which is one of the hardest parts. It is one of the hardest parts of trading. So while we wait, you guys have a good weekend. My friend's kid turned 6 years old, and I got him that car I told you about last week, the one with the Hot Wheels one with the Braille on it. So he liked it. He thought it was cool. And I got him some other ones as well. But yeah, we had a good time this weekend. I don't know if y'all saw my story. Had a few cigars. And yeah, so good times. A few more things did that, but I'm not going to get into it. You know, there's a time for extracurricular activities, and then there are times to be professional. You know what I mean? Marwan says the gang was out shit. Oh, look at that. We got 40 viewers. That's sick. We haven't been there in a while. I guess people are starting to see. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been posting to my stories out the ass. I've been posting to Twitter out the ass. Like, look, everybody says this, that, and the third. And I'm one of the very few who's actually calling price targets that have been hitting. So I would hope we get more viewers, man. I'm just saying. What do you think got me noticed in the beginning? How do you think I became an educator? How do you think Trade House found me? By doing shit like this. By going on Facebook. Back then I was in the Trading View chats, which was fucking stupid. But I would call trades days in advance. And you do that consistently, and I promise you, I fucking promise you, people will notice that. Because like you do it once or twice, it's like, all right, whatever. All right, that guy trades, it's cool. But you do that every fucking week. You get it wrong sometimes, of course. But you just do shit that nobody else is doing. And I promise, people are going to go, oh, okay. What is she doing? What is he doing? How is he doing this and that? And then you connect with people. And then you walk it in front of them like what we're doing. Foresight is the only way to prove that you know what you're talking about. It's the only way. Anybody can go on hindsight, but not everybody can, you know, call moves and then the market actually goes there. Okay. Now, again, I don't want to make it seem like I have the biggest ego in the world. My timing is not the greatest. You know, we looked at 33,803 for Dow. We looked at that last week, but that hit at like 1 a.m. today. What the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not the greatest when it comes to timing. Now, sometimes I'll say afternoon session or morning session or today, and that'll usually do its job. But that 1 a.m. shit, wrong, bro. Wrong. Okay. And I'm not afraid to get it wrong in front of other people. There's no way around it. But I give you guys justification. Why are we looking for the 50s? Why are we looking for this area? Because of the 1 minute, all those imbalances there. This is imbalanced price action. That to me is a true imbalanced price action because of those gaps there on the 1 minute time frame. Okay, we don't need a volume profile. We don't need a fucking volume tool. We don't need any indicators to tell us that. We can see the gaps in the price action. It's visual. Visual. I seen it. So anyway, JK, what are we referring to? Is it about a lady? What are we referring to? What's good, Chad? Charles said it was your birthday weekend. Very nice. What did you do this weekend? And see, I'm not like a master per se, but I try pretty hard though. I try pretty hard, and I pay attention, and I do my best to learn from my mistakes. So, am I always the greatest at learning from my mistakes? No. Sometimes I made the same mistake more than once. More than once. All right. This might be too small of a time frame, but you have equal highs there on the Dow, and then just above that, you have that gap there too. So that could be something for the short-term upside. Upside on that, I think, would take us into the mid 50s for the S&P. But now, all of a sudden, we have 41.47 as some lows. That's usually not good when you're in a long position. Like if I was long right now, I would not be very happy with that. I'd be like, shit, we're going to come back for the lows. That's how I would feel. The price may not do that. It may trade higher first, but you know, when you're in a trade, you get all nervous, right? You go, equal lows. Darn. But at this point, I think I would want to see that left open. Leave these lows open and get into the mid 50s. So we shall see. I ordered 2 more books yesterday. I know I said I would stop. I told everybody, look, I'm done. I'll stop. I didn't stop. Okay. And I think it's Henry David Thoreau I got. So we'll see how it goes. That'll be fun. So again, equal lows on smaller time frame, but still wanting higher pricing. It just creates conditions that are not favorable. The moves aren't explosive. Think about it. If we were in a trade right now, we've been live here about almost 40 minutes, and we still have only had a range of about 4 points, maybe 5 points. When you're in a market that doesn't go anywhere, realistically, all you're going to spend is mental capital. Unless you're just the most patient person in the world, which I am not. I am not. So when I want the market to do something, I don't want it to be casual. So there's that. All right. Well, anyway, we did peak about 43. I think we're back down to the 30s. So at least we got an intraday high on the viewership. So we're working on it. I don't even know why you're only at 5K subs. I'd expect you to be at 25, 30K by now. I could talk about that for a brief moment if you want to. But I'll give you my thoughts. Learned a lot with you and your knowledge. Appreciate that. Thoughts on gold? I haven't looked at gold, George. But off the top of my head, I think gold has equal highs on the weekly time frame, which I would expect. So maybe 2100, I think. 2075, almost 2100, a little bit above that. So I think that's next. Do I think we're gonna sprint there? I don't know. I don't think so, but I think that is gonna be next up. I think that would be blessed for that market. So I have to wait and see. But I don't usually intraday trade gold. I do sometimes, but not like all the time. It's kind of like my, what is it, tertiary? Like I'll go indices first, and then currencies, and then metals. So a lot of the times I just don't end up trading it unless there's something really nice. But it's not my main focus. But I do like the long-term plays for the metals. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so why is it that I don't have 25K to 30K? What's good, Andreas? Well, part of it is the algorithm, okay? The algorithm. It's all good, Andreas. We haven't done anything today. We've been watching this and we're looking for probably 56, 57 for the S&P, but there's not really any room to do anything for right now. But we're just watching it. Here's the thing. So why I don't have 25, 30K. Number one, I only just hopped back on YouTube back in January. It's only been a few months, but my content doesn't get picked up by the YouTube algorithm or even Twitter. The only way I can do that, I can go viral if I want to, but the only way that really seems to work is when you start some shit. Think about it. Think about every viral person that you know. Any of them. Trading community, celebrities, NFL, NBA, doesn't matter. Olympics. The only way to really go viral is to get picked up by news outlets or someone who ranks high in the industry that you're in. Okay? Drama, Marwin, exactly. So what happened the other day is I posted about my book. I took a picture of 2 pages and I said, you guys judge my book when it came out 2 years ago, but yet my book called the low of the day for the euro, right? Along the lines of that. And so, of course, other people started commenting. So the people that were commenting on that post were Twitter traders who also had followers, 20,000, 30,000 followers. So when they comment on my post, the Twitter algorithm will put my tweet in front of their followers. So I got a lot more. I got over like 30,000 impressions on that post. And I'll usually get a few hundred impressions on my regular post. So it was exponentially higher because those other traders have such a following that I tapped into their network, right? Taprooting, essentially. So what's the one way to taproot into other people's network? You have to tap into the people with the network. So how do you do that? You start some shit. You start some shit. You get everybody arguing and tweeting and retweeting and all that, and it makes the algorithm go crazy. And the algorithm picks it up and it takes your tweet and it starts throwing it out there, putting it in front of everybody. because it's getting a lot of engagement, it's getting views. So that's why that one tweet got almost 30,000 impressions. Probably it's 30,000 by now. Last time I checked, it had like 29,000, but that was like 2 weeks. That was like a week or two ago. But the YouTube is the same way. You know, I don't come on here and use other people's names to get famous. Okay. And I know a lot of people do that. A lot of people will use someone else's name and to ride the hype of that. Right? Think about this. There was a song, I think it was Taylor Swift, made like 10 years ago. I forgot which song it was. But, you know, Taylor Swift is a mega artist, one of the biggest artists in the world, right? She has millions upon millions of followers and her reach is ridiculous, right? And I started noticing this. Now, it wasn't Shake It Off. Come on, John. It wasn't that. But what happened is I noticed this about small time bands, cover bands, essentially. What they would do is they would cover a song that was popular, right? Y'all remember Punk Goes Pop or Pop Goes Punk or whatever? And these bands would do cover songs. Why would they do that? Well, think about it. If I'm a band, I've got like 4 or 5 members and whatever, and we want to get noticed. Okay, well, we put out a song, it gets like 5 views. Right? We're nobodies. Okay. Well, instead of making our own shit, let's just take Taylor's song and let's cover it. Now, we'll give her her credits and all that. You're going to do it the right way. But what happens to that song? It blows up, right? Because people are going to be searching for Taylor Swift, but they're going to find also through the SEO, the search engine optimization, is YouTube is now going to include those cover songs in that first page of searches. So you're going to get a lot more views on that cover song. So more people are finding out who this band is because they're riding the wave. They're riding the popularity of that bigger artist. That's how bands blow up, right? And then they put out their own music. So I personally don't do that. Okay. Now, the only reason that I have gone viral here and there is because other people did that. Other people did that on purpose. So let me tell you a little bit that a lot of people still don't know. When I released my book, okay, it was like a month or two had went by before it went #1 on Amazon. Okay, like almost 2 months or so. I don't remember the exact date, but it was like literally 8 or 9 weeks after it released. But during those 8 or 9 weeks, bro, I was nervous just because of how fast it was blowing up. Because what people were doing is they were sharing it, like either the link or a picture or something. I didn't really see a lot of PDFs. I mean, I heard there were PDFs, but I didn't really see any. But anyway, people would send me screenshots of someone else promoting my book in telegrams that had, oh my God, 5, 8, 10,000 people in it. And I went, holy shit, bro. I never asked for that. I never asked for promotion. I never ran ads. I didn't even do a launch. I didn't even say, hey, it'll be ready in 5 days. Look, I put that bitch on Amazon and it said, oh, hey, now it's available. You know what I mean? I literally I had 0 ad spend, not one fucking ad. Didn't ask people to promote. Not at all. But yet it still went #1 on Amazon because of everything I just explained to you. People sharing it, people saying good things, people saying bad things, people accusing me of this or of that, whatever. And it's controversy. And sure enough, bitch went right to #1. it was at top 10 for a couple of days, and then it went to number 5 and then number 3, and then all of a sudden I checked and it was at number 1. I took like so many screenshots. I was like, this is fucking awesome. And so yeah, I have experience with growing social media, you know, getting sales on Amazon, stuff like that. But honestly, I don't like to start some shit just to grow my channel. I don't think it's the right thing to do. I think the right thing to do is showcase your skill set. And this is with anything, okay? So if you're an underwater basket weaver, or you fucking make weight loss tea, or you're a tattoo artist, whatever, it doesn't even matter what you do. Oh, fuck. All right. One second. All right, let's see. Are we back? How do we sound? We're good? Okay, sorry about that. You start going deep down the fucking rabbit hole and people catch on. Let me see something. Oh, your stop loss is my entry. I can talk about that too. Let me just see one thing. Let me see. I just want to give you a quick example. That's right. It was blank space. It was I Prevail. Look at this shit. So 8 years ago, it was the band I Prevail. They made a Taylor Swift cover, right? Blank space. 74 million views between now and the last 8 years. Same with this band, Our Last Night. They made a bunch of covers. That to me is how they got famous. I'm not saying they're not talented. I'm not saying that. I Prevail, pretty decent band. I think they kind of fell off right now, but Our Last Night, talented guys. But that's how I think they got noticed. Because look at all these covers, 12 million views. You know what I mean? So it's like they took their talent, but then used another artist's fame to really get put on the map. That's what I'm saying. And people do that even now. Oh, look at that. We're in the 54s. People even do that now. You know, they'll use other people's names to try and like sell shit or run a mentorship or a course or whatever. Now, I mean, that's cool, but that's just not something that I want to do. I want to make a name for myself. I could give a fuck how long it takes. But yeah, that's one thing I never was really good at is the marketing side. And that's why, because can I start some shit? You bet your fucking ass I can. But that doesn't mean I want to. I don't like doing that. I could call out a lot of people for their bullshit. But at the end of the day, all that does is take attention away. It takes traders' attention away from the markets and onto people's bullshit. You know? There's 55 at least. We got the 55s in there. What's my opinion about the future of the dollar? I don't know yet. I don't know. It's hard to say. I think the dollar will remain king for now. But I really don't know. I'm not really sure. So yeah, exposure is the problem. It is. You know how everybody's saying now, your stop loss is my entry? people only started that after I came out with it. On my Instagram, I have a post. It was my mug, because I put that on a mug and I ordered it, and I posted that in October of 2020. So that was like 2.5 years ago. And nobody was saying that shit before then. Nobody, not a fucking soul. But then I put it out there, and I even put that on Twitter, my little hoodie and everything. That's my pinned tweet, actually. And now you see everybody saying that shit. And a lot of them don't even know that it was for me. That's why I reposted that girl the other day, because she said it, and I looked at her profile. She doesn't follow me. She probably doesn't even know who I am. But these sayings and stuff, they get spread out through the trading community. And like, I don't care. I didn't patent it. I didn't make it a slogan or anything. It's just a saying, bro. Like, who gives a fuck? But that's where the shit came from. And I have other sayings too. They just didn't get as famous, but it's not about being famous. It was never about going viral. It was never about starting trends and shit. It was never about that. I don't care about that. I used to, I'll be honest. I used to, but I don't care about that shit no more. So we're at the 55s, which is pretty good. Pretty good. For those of you that have been following along, we've been waiting for that. And I told you exactly why. These gaps in here. Lo and behold, price went right there. I mean, come on. Price action is not that difficult. It's not that difficult. You definitely were, or was, the first person I heard that from. Yeah. So I have it on my charts too. I mean, I didn't always have it on my charts because TradingView, the watermarks just came out like not that long ago, but I don't care. Anybody can say it. I don't care. I think, fuck, if anything, I think it's cool. I think it's cool. You know, that shows how far our reach is in the community. And it shows you how fast anybody can gain notoriety. But I just don't like when people take our shit and then try and run with it. Like, oh, your stop loss is my entry, bro. Buy my course. Like, all right, no, you're a fucking bitch for that. But everything else, like just being a trader and saying stuff like that, or even having it on your chart, I don't care about that. But you trying to take what I say and sell a course, that to me, you deserve to get your fucking ass beat, if I'm being honest. Not that I condone violence, but some people deserve it. Some people learn from other people just to take it and try and replicate it somewhere else. Like, it's fucking nuts. Because they like the attention, and I really despise people like that. I do. I despise people that crave attention and do anything to get it. I hate that. Have you ever thought to be on any of these podcasts with the trading community? No. No. I think some dude went on Trading Nut and was saying shit that I say. Oh, your stop loss is my entry, bro. I was like, the fuck, man? Seriously? And after I launched my book, I think people wanted me on Trading Nut's podcast, but I don't have anything against Trading Nut. I mean, I think the guy's cool. He has his own lane. I mean, the guy's got a ton of, I think he has like 150K subs or almost 200,000 subs. The guy's got his own lane. You know, he's got his whole method of everything. He brings a lot of people on, does a lot of interviews. I respect that. I think that's really cool. But I think he's brought on some absolute fucking goofballs. I don't think he vets the people like that he brings on. And I asked myself, like, would I ever go on his podcast or his show? I was like, I'm not going on that shit. I'm good, bro. I'm good on all that. Would it be good exposure? Yeah, it would be. But clearly, I'm not begging for exposure. But I bet you, given the skill set and given enough time, I am willing to bet like 20 grand we could grow this channel by the end of the year, which is only another 6 months. Or I lied, quick math. Because it's only fucking April. 7, 8 months. I don't know, guys. I'm not fully awake yet. Okay, leave me alone. But there's still a lot of time left in this year, and I'm highly convinced that with the right skill set and given the consistency, I think the channel would just grow naturally. Not having to start no shit, not having to run ads, not having to make cringe ass thumbnails, you know, death to the dollar and the stock market's gonna crash. And like, I don't want to do that shit, bro. I don't want to have to make content like that. No, siree. I trust the skill set is enough. And if it's not, then I'm wrong. And if I can't grow the channel, then I'm wrong. Straight like that. All right. So it looks like we've got into our 56s. Very nice. That means the Dow should be above those highs. Oh, look at that. Just above those equal highs there. The only problem with that is the downside for Dow is not the same as S&P. And those highs don't look all that distinctive, in my opinion. If the high at 930 was a lot higher, I would think this would be the high of the day. The NASDAQ, what do we look for? This imbalance. What's it back into? This imbalance. Right. Conditions of a consolidating market, runs liquidity and back into the range. Oh, that was fucking difficult. Oh, price is not difficult. You just have to know what conditions you're in. So what do we do from here? Personally, I'm bearish. If we shorted right now, it would be roughly an 8.5 point stop. But I would screenshot this for study. Screenshot this for study, okay? Mark 41.33.5. Mark this imbalance, these equal lows, and where price is at right now. I'm going to screenshot this. Okay? So now again, this is going to be recorded. There's no way I can go back and, you know, change it. What I personally think is we trade lower. I think we trade lower. Am I going to take a live trade based on where we are right now? No. I took the day off. I'm going to stick with that. I'm not going to force anything. But if I had to say, I do happen to be bearish on an intraday basis. We've outlined at least one target, 41.47 equal lows. If we end up ramming through that, 41.33 could be on the table. That's a pretty big long shot. If we spend a lot of time within this imbalance or even start to trade above it, that would negate the idea for me personally. Because guess what? If this ends up being not an imbalance and it goes through it, I wouldn't want to hold for like a full stop. So this would need to show bearishness pretty quickly in order to justify the idea. But I would screenshot this here. 618 roughly as well. And then see what we do the rest of the afternoon. Okay. So again, just to clarify, to be crystal clear, I'm not saying this is a trade. This is not trade advice. I'm just saying, I think this is bearish. That's it. Okay? So if I'm wrong, then I'm fucking wrong. And that's that. Consistency and vision is key. Appreciate that, George. Lamont, I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. Sucks it didn't go to that mitigation prior to going up. No, I agree, John. I would have wanted to long that. But we didn't. And that's okay. It's always nice to be right, but not get your setup, and then you just don't do anything. You go, okay. It's just like Sunday. Can you go to Chick-fil-A? You can want Chick-fil-A as much as you want, but you're not getting Chick-fil-A on Sunday. It's just not going to happen. So you got to go somewhere else. You just got to walk away. But patience is hard for people. They want to hurry up and get in. So was there a long that we missed? That's hard to say. That's hard to say. All right, I don't know what song I'm listening to right now, but this shit is weird. I might have to change it. Where was the long? Dude. It's hard to say. It is very hard to say. There's that gap that we talked about for the Dow. Right there. It's not the only gap, but that was the first one above the equal highs. So for those of you that have that question, well, how do I know if it's going to fucking hit the highs in reverse or go above it? And if it goes above it, how far? Look what I just gave you. At a minimum, okay? There is more gaps. It's the Dow 1 minute time frame. It's going to be a plethora of gaps, but that's the first one above the highs. So it's like the easiest target for the upside above equal highs. Okay. So we will watch that as well. But we're just chilling for right now. What I'm trying to do is cycle through this and see if there was any long position that we could have taken that we missed. And personally, I'm not seeing it. And I'm not seeing it. This looks like the NASDAQ looks like doo-doo. Okay. I mean, this is a stretch, but there is an imbalance right there. That was at 11:45 anyway. That's probably not the ideal time. So, you know, I don't know if I'm rocking with that, Chief. So today might just be a go read a fucking book day. Know what I'm saying? Go read a book. So we're getting a slight reaction from here. Nothing to do with that just yet. And look at the sensitivity there on the Dow at that gap. It can still push through that, of course, but I'm just saying, look at the level of sensitivity there. Right there. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool if you ask me. The exaggerated titles for viewership and exposure. I mean, I have some really cool titles that I'm ready to use, but sometimes I don't want to be all fancy. Sometimes I just want to be live futures analysis. I mean, you know, that's it. Oh, sorry, I keep going back to micros. Keep going back to micros. Let's see what the dollar's doing. Dollar sliding lower. Remember what I said earlier? If the dollar continues to slide lower, that would justify long on the S&P, or the indices rather. And well, we did get both of which, so it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool as well. Not my favorite, again, not my favorite. I could have easily fucked that up, but hey, panned out. I really want to watch both side by side. Like, I want to watch the Dow and the S&P, but we'll just watch one and one for right now. So, again, downside, especially for the last hour, because the next 50 minutes is going to be, I don't know, we'll have to see. But if we start drifting lower, 41, 47, again, is the equal lows for the last hour, and balance below that. And if we're really, really, really aggressive, 41, 33.5 and below. But again, that's if we start seeing lower and lower pricing. That's what I would be expecting, like, along the way. Would I expect 41, 33.5 from where it is right now? That's kind of a stretch. And that's another reason why, if it were me, when I tell you guys, like, when we make a new low, that's a partial. Or if we're bullish and we make a new high, like, oh, that's a partial, because price may not always go to your final TP. It's nice when it does, but it doesn't always pan out that way. And I'm not really digging this 5-minute time frame on the Dow either. The E-mini looks pretty good. There's that little gap right there too, at lunchtime, or just after lunch, excuse me. That right there. Why is this so hard to mark up? That right there. Price was pretty sensitive to that too. So study those things. I would have just preferred that gap within this candle here, but it just never went down there. And that's okay. That is A-okay. But yeah, I have the first few titles were exaggerated. Sniping in your underwear. I don't even remember some of the older ones, but they're there. I might bring those back. I might bring it back. So anyways, oh, look at that, 25 likes. Appreciate you. Appreciate that, guys. Thank you, thank you. So Lamad, John, Marwin, George, when are we getting the snipers? When are we becoming members? That's my question for you. When are we pulling the trigger? Oh, pun intended. When are we pulling the trigger on that? So we can get some snipers next to our names. And the use of the emojis. How about that? How about that? You know, I'm trying to think of what exactly the dollar is reaching for, and I really don't know. I mean, we're in this 1 hour imbalance. Doesn't look like it's respecting it all that much. You see here? And we're just kind of like within that. So it's like, what is it reaching for? Great question. What is the euro reaching for? Probably 1010 or 110.80. Those highs right there. Possibly. British pound is above a previous high, but not all that appealing to me. But with the, again, same thing as I said earlier, with the continuation of dollar going lower, that could be justification for higher indices. So might happen to be short, but or have a short bias, but if I'm wrong, I want to admit it quickly so we don't hold a full loss. Know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying? George, not mentorship, just here on YouTube. Like just memberships for YouTube. Nothing wild. I mean, I am going to put out some videos pretty soon for members only, and a lot of the community posts are now membership only as well. So sometimes I'll post a markup or an update or something, or I'll recap like something we talked about. So it's just easier for you guys to view it that way. So it's like it's a privilege perk, if you will. Oh, okay, I got you, Lamont. I got you. Yeah, they say some crazy shit. But I get it. I mean, they're trying to do their best to grow their channel. I understand that. I'm not knocking them for it. I'm not hating on them. But some people take it too far. Like the humble trader, she like got on a stripper pole and started dancing and shit. That is way too fucking much. That is way too much. You wanna be, you know, a trader but you're on a stripper pole. Like that's above and beyond what I'm fucking willing to do. You know, that's just weird. It's just trying too hard. And I would never do no shit like that. But hey, you got to grow your channel somehow, right? Oh, Curd65, I got you. I know who you are. Curd65. Anyway, George, how do you join a community? You hit join. Funny enough, you hit join. Oh, shit, I fucked up. I didn't mean to get out of my music. All right, so under where it says live futures analysis, Forex, and indices, it has John Fibonacci, and then it says join. There's a button, literally says join. You click that, and then it'll take you to the membership screen. So you can do the tier 1 or the tier 2 membership. And you'll get the sniper next to your name, which changes over time, I'm pretty sure. And then you get some of those emojis as well to use in a chat. And that's that. Bars. All right. So, anyways. Price is not doing anything crazy just yet. It's not doing anything too crazy just yet. And since we're already up in here, the target that we had, we didn't get downside first. So I'm going to take these off because I'm not looking at that like a buy anymore. I'm not looking down there for longs anymore. So like that would negate, since we hit our target, that negates the original long down in here. Okay. So now I don't need those anymore. like in my mind, I know the imbalance is there, but I'm not again going to use that for a buying opportunity. So it's toast to me, and not like buttered toast either, like the crunchy kind, the toast that you burn and doesn't taste good. I don't like it. I don't want that toast. No sir, no ma'am. Thinking about leaving it, I am, and the only thing is because of your content, but it's pricey. John, I'm not gonna replicate what I've done elsewhere here. It wouldn't be fair. It wouldn't be fair. You know, YouTube is free. The memberships are optional. You get cool shit though, and you get some perks. So there is incentive to that. But I'm not going to replicate what I've done elsewhere here on YouTube. So there's not going to be like specific videos with everything I've ever taught. I mean, I'll teach you things here on the live sessions, but you got to be here for that. I mean, you could watch the recording too, but bro, y'all got to understand these recordings are 2 hours. Some of them are 3 hours. Like, it's not very advantageous to sit through all that content just to learn. Where other areas, there are concise, particular videos put in order on purpose. So yeah, those are my thoughts. The book reinforces effectively. Gotcha. Trade House chat still active? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not really in a lot of chats. All the chats that I've ever been in just turn into promo. This Zoom call, that Zoom call, this and that. I'm just like, I don't need that. I spoke about that a few weeks ago, if you guys remember. How, you know, everybody and their mom started doing Zoom calls and the attention just got all divided. And then, yeah, it's just, I get fucking 20, 30 notifications a day about this call or that call. Like, I don't want that shit. I've done 0 promotion. I have 35 people on this call. None. Well, I texted my team earlier, but there's not a lot of people in that chat. But I didn't promote anywhere for this, and I still get people to come on here. Because again, back to what I said earlier, I believe if you really have value, you will grow naturally because people will want to share your shit. How many books have I shared with you guys? How many times have I told you about a book that I really enjoyed? Right? It's word of mouth marketing. Ryan Holiday, he doesn't pay me to promote his books. He doesn't even fucking know who I am. All those other philosophy books from Penguin Classics, I promote their books. They don't pay me for that. They don't know who I am. But I promote them because I got value and I want you to get value. So I put that out there and that helps them grow, right? It pays the artists. It pays the authors. It pays the publishing companies. You know what I mean? And they grow naturally through good content. And I've seen myself grow naturally from good content because of word of mouth marketing. It's the most powerful shit there is. It's the most powerful thing there is. There's a book by Ryan Holiday. He talks about this. It's called Trust Me, I'm Lying. Confessions of a Media Manipulator, something like that. I think it was Ryan Holiday's first book. And oh, this is a good song. It was a long book and it was a little bit boring and repetitive, but some of the stuff in there is powerful as fuck. He knows how to go viral too. That's why he's viral all the time. That's why the Daily Stoic has like 1 million or 500,000 subs on YouTube. You know, he knows how to get in front of people. He knows how to sell books. I mean, he knows media, period. He studied under Robert Greene, and the guy's awesome. But he doesn't like go viral and promote things like Hello? Are we good now? I can't ever go in, man. I can't ever go in. Fucking ridiculous. What was the last thing I said? Throw the whole fucking computer away. What was the last thing I said, guys? We were talking about Ryan Holiday. I gotta charge my phone, guys. Doesn't go viral, manipulatively. Oh yeah. So his books are very well put together, very readable. You know, and it's great. It's great value. You know what I'm saying? So that to me is a reason why he has been able to grow the way that he has. He has good content. He knows how to promote it. He knows how to get people to buy shit. And it's all, you know, he knows how to do shit, okay? But his books are good. They're not bad. Has he gotten a couple 1-star reviews? Well, yeah, because there's always going to be people out there who are fucking retarded. But the guy's super smart and he knows what he's doing. So like for me, I know that I can replicate something similar in the trading community. It's difficult. It's hard. Because apparently everybody trades smart money. Everybody teaches smart money and all that. Right? So a lot of the attention is divided. It's divided, man. So the only way to push through the noise is either number one, you do stupid shit like dance on a fucking stripper pole, or you start some shit, you start beef with other traders to get more attention, or the route that I want to go is through the actual skill set. Now, in an ideal world, both. If I was dedicated 100%, if I wanted to grow this channel as fast as possible, I would come on here, call some trading moves, and start talking mad shit. I would start talking, I'd be calling everybody out by name on Twitter. All you do is post motivational content, bro. Post a trade, send it. Someone else, same thing. Man, all you do is fucking talk shit. You don't trade. Done. Send it. And I would just start tagging people left and right and left and right. You can't trade. My entry's better than yours. My R is better than yours. Like, I would go ham on that. You know what I mean? Get people talking and retweeting, making videos and getting into arguments, blocking people. They probably block me, you know, like, and just make them fucking mess. just cause havoc within a trading community. I could do that. I could. But as I've mentioned before, I used to be like that. I used to be a very toxic person. And I told myself I didn't want to be like that anymore. And I really don't want to do that. If I was dedicated, I would. I would showcase the skill set and finesse the marketing side, excuse me. You know? And I wouldn't call out no like 2,000, 3,000 followers, bro. I'd call out some serious heavy hitters. 20,000, 30,000 followers, 100,000 followers. Some of them won't some of them won't give you the time of the day, you know, because they'll just like, fuck this guy. But other people will. Other people will give you the time of day. And like that's when it gets fun. Because your growth is exponential. But morally, it just doesn't sit right with me anymore. Just doesn't sit right. So we've gotten a reaction, but not a very strong one. It hasn't done really all that much. I think if we had shorted this gap or close to it, I think I'd probably be break even, to be honest. But the more time we spend not going lower, the more I'm getting the vibe that I could be wrong. And it's okay to be wrong. Just don't stay wrong. So anyway, any recommendations for Stoic books on self-development? Absolutely. Absolutely, George. Go. George. Do yourself a favor right now. Do yourself a favor right now. Oh, my story is empty. I gotta fix that. Go to my Instagram right now. Go to my reels. Okay? Go to my reels. And this is what you will see. You'll see this. That top one in the middle, it's called Philosophy Favorites. I just put that out like a couple days ago. It's called Philosophy Favorites. I ended up missing one or two of them because I got back to my house and I put my books back on the bookshelf and I saw A Guide to the Good Life and I went, fuck, I missed it. But I'm not going to reshoot that whole thing, re-edit it and re-upload for one book. But A Guide to the Good Life is pretty good by William B. Irvine. And then everything else in there is pretty solid. Okay. So now ask yourself this. Ask yourself this. You want me to fucking get egotistical for a second? Because I will. Matter of fact, let's give it a few more candles before I do that. I'll give you a taste of the toxic John. I won't go too ham. Give me 1 second, guys. I really should charge my phone, but I'll do it after this. I will do it after this. How many likes on this video for John Fib on a strippable? Everyone has a praise, John. Lewis, You're fucking blocked. Blocked, Lewis. Banned from my YouTube channel. Banned. What do you say? NASDAQ went higher? NASDAQ went higher. Who said NASDAQ went higher? You must have a bachelor's degree from the Silly Goose University, because what the fuck? It didn't go higher. You're a silly goose, man. Who said that? But no, I'm just fucking with you guys. Excited for the video to drop on Wednesday. Oh yeah, that's gonna be a solid one. S&P and Dow went lower and NASDAQ went higher. Anyway, thank you for time and value. Appreciate that. AC. I think that's what your name is. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here. We got 29 people on and 29 likes. Look at that. Very nice. Very nice. All right, it is Monday, which means we should be out within the next 25 minutes. If we end up just ramming lower, I'll spend a little bit more time with you guys. So remember what I said. I know I say it a lot. But remember when we were up in here, we screenshotted it, right? And then we said, all right, if we start drifting lower, 41.47 could be on the table. We have 24 minutes left before the final hour. So if we kind of just stay sideways or start to drift lower, then that final hour we may see a little pop and then a fucking drop below 41.47. That's the conditions. Now I will also preface this by saying, if we had shorted this gap, I would be a break even on the Dow, because I wouldn't trust it. I wouldn't want to trust staying short in this market. Now, if we were in from up here, maybe that's probably a break even, like one tick maybe, just to see, just to eliminate risk, not be anxious worrying about it, because that's just what I would prefer to do. Because we could still be wrong. The market could still trade higher. But I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to stick to what I said, to the bearish bias. Now, we were right a lot last week, so it's only a matter of time before I'm wrong again. So I am a little bit cautious on that. So I want to try and teach you guys that shit too. Winning streaks, losing streaks. Well, I mean, I hope I don't go on a losing streak in front of you guys, because that would be fucking embarrassing. It would be realistic, but it would be embarrassing. So if we ever do go on a losing streak, I will tell you why, what happened, and then how to fix it. So until then, we'll probably stick with other lessons. Oh, we got to put this in the back. We got to put that there in the back. I'm looking at the ETFs real quick too. Eesh. Yeah, the ETFs do not look very good. They don't look good. I don't think we're gonna get here today, but the Dow has 33,677 as some lows too for the ETFs. I think that's a stretch for today, but that's still there too. And then the NASDAQ is horrendous today, so we'll come back to it. But we'll come back to it. Did you guys take a screenshot up there or what? Did you guys take that before and after? We're not at the after yet. We're kind of in the trade management phase at the moment, or the idea management. Sorry, it wasn't a trade idea, but we were, we took the before and we're not at the after yet, but if you guys took it before and after, then good on you. Even if we're wrong. If we're wrong, then we'll study what happened. We'll study why we're wrong. Can we justify longs? What's one of my rules, guys? I don't want a long when there's equal lows, right? So I can't justify longs. We did justify shorts. Would I justify shorting right now? Oh, absolutely not. But we do have at least a high probability downside target. I wouldn't have wanted to see this move here earlier first, but that's okay. The timing constraint is still a factor because realistically, we're still printing candles, but we're not gunning lower. We're kind of just drifting lower. If the market was going to hit 41.33, it would have to do that. It needs to start printing big ass candles to the downside, and we're not getting that. So the more time we spend not going lower, then the more I believe that I could be wrong on the short bias. Okay. So personally, I think if we print one or two big up candles back into this, I think I would not feel good about that. But that's just me. What's good, D1? On the 1 minute, there was a divergence. He's right. Oh. Well, my mistake. My mistake. Oh, and the broker, it did go higher on the 1 minute. Or on the Dow. Okay. My bad. My bad. Hey. I'm a man with flaws, okay? I am a man of flaws. All right? I'm not perfect. My mistake. Do you intend on doing a video on how to deal with losing streaks or getting out of drawdown? Absolutely. I have that already ready to go. Content-wise, I just haven't recorded it. And then once I record it, I have to edit it, which doesn't take a long time. But yeah, that's coming too. Oh yeah, it definitely is. Andreas took the screenshot. Very nice, very nice. Is the ESM pair traded on MetaTrader? Can't find it. George, Mr. George, ES is not a pair. It is a futures contract. ESM. So ES is the S&P 500 symbol, and then M is the contract month. I believe it's June. June 2023. Okay. So you're not going to find that on MT4 because it's not a pair. You will have to go into Trading View and type it in, either MESM 2023 or ESM 2023. So you probably have something along the lines of SPX, SP 500, US 500, something like that. Okay. So it's not a dumb question, but there you go. The more you know, the more you know. All right. If we get 41.47 on the stream today, you guys got to drop the diamond emoji. Is that a fair trade? Is that fair? And then guess what? We'll post all that shit on the gram. Deal? Bet. Bet. So what do you think our alert's going to be today, ladies and gents? 41.47 for the S&P. We could do an alert at 41.33, but I'm not going to expect that to hit today. But we'll put that there just in case, or maybe for another time. But the first target, easiest target of the day, has got to be 41.47. Fuck, it's only 4 points away. Like, come on. It can't be. impossible. I could be wrong, but I hope not. Because I want to be able to show you guys the toxic John. Just a little sample. A little sample. Let the cat out of the bag a little bit. Dude, it's already 1:45, man. Dude, I slept in bad today. Bad. I haven't even done my journaling for today yet. It's a sad day. But we're going to turn it around. I don't even know what happened to my book. I got to find it. I got to go find it. My daily stoic journal. No, I see the journal, but I don't see my other book, man. Sad day. But we're going to make it up. We're going to make it up. Still just not really expanding lower. It's just drifting. Like how most people live their lives. So Philosophical Friday all over again, right? I think it was either Seneca or Epictetus who said, if a man knows not which port he sails, no wind is favorable. Basically saying most people live their life aimlessly, like a boat out on the ocean who doesn't have their sails set into a direction. They're kind of just like floating around, not going anywhere. Well, no wind is going to be favorable, right? They're just drifting through life. Well, Price is fucking drifting right now. You know what I mean? So there's your philosophical lesson for today. Don't live your life aimlessly. Seneca, when he wrote on the shortness of life, okay? It's one of the ones I just completed as well. I had this for a really long time too, on the shortness of life. Seneca says that it's not that life is short, it's that we waste a lot of it. That life is long if you know how to use it. Well, how can we apply that to trading? Screen time doesn't equate to skill set. Okay, some people can come onto the charts for 30 minutes or an hour, they kill it. Some people spend all day on the charts and they don't do well. You know what I mean? So, or even being a student, wasting time not studying or wasting time with other people's nonsense, right? It's wasting life. The more time, and I put this out in an email last week too, the more time you spend anxious or worrying about the past or the future, the more time you spend on Twitter bullshit or Instagram bullshit, the less time you can spend being happy or being in I dropped my fucking marker. Being in tranquility, right? So just make sure that you are spending your time wisely. Today will not happen again. Today is April 24th, 2023. We will not get today again. We will have another April 24th, but it will be 2024 and 2025 and moving forward. So I tell you guys this because trading is important. It's very important, but so is living your life. I got, I think tacos on Thursday. I went to 2 parties this weekend. I partied on Saturday and I partied on Sunday. Okay. Now, I didn't get fucking plastered though. I mean, Saturday I probably had a little bit too much, but I Ubered there and I Ubered back home anyway, so I wasn't driving. So just for transparency's sake, okay? John doesn't drink and drive, right? And you shouldn't either. But you know, I enjoy spending my time with other people. We have fun. Housewarming parties. I think we watched we went over to watch the fight, but it got really late and I didn't stay for that, but you know, met some new people, had some drinks. Yeah. So we had 1942 and Avion 44. And I think like maybe a beer after that, but you know, I had enough. And anyway, the next day was the 6-year-old party. So that was at my friend's house too. You know, so I had back-to-back parties because those are my people. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't want to spend the day or the evening doing something else because I wouldn't want to miss that. You know, he's only going to turn 6 one time. They're only going to have you can only go to someone's house for the first time once, right? You can only have a housewarming party one time and that's it, you know? So there's some food for thought as we watch the indices not really do a whole lot of anything. So I guess my first thought, since we're watching price, my first thought is if we were short from here, I would probably be break even. And that is kind of a tight risk management or trade management, but you got to realize like if price isn't going your way and you're wrong, I wouldn't want to hold open risk. And I'm okay to break even on a day that's probably not all that great anyway. You know what I mean? So I would feel a little worried if we trade back up and near this high again. I'd be a little concerned. Just like the Dow, or excuse me, just like the S&P, it's drifted lower, but it's not screaming lower. It's not doing a lot. The NASDAQ has reacted, but now it's into this imbalance and reacted a little bit. So I don't know what price is going to do the very next couple of candles. But I would be slightly concerned if we were short because we're still close to that. Markets that run away from your entry are usually the best ones. But when it comes back to your entry, that's when it gets a little bit shaky for me personally. You know what I mean? 8 minutes until the last hour. And we'll watch this for a little bit. But I can't be here all that. I won't be here for the full hour, but I'll be here probably for the first maybe 15 minutes of that last hour. So there you have it. Are you live every day at the same time? No. Monday and Friday is 1 p.m. Eastern, and then it's Tuesday and Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. The schedule is on my YouTube page as well. Like when you click my channel, it's at the top. It's also on my Instagram as well. I wanted to do it at the same time every day, but given other schedules, I didn't want to overlap other people's schedules. Just like how, you know, I bitch about how people used to overlap their shit with our shit. I don't like that, right? So if I don't like that, why would I do that? That'd make me a hypocrite, right? So I navigated a schedule where we can have our time here on YouTube, but that doesn't take away from either myself or my team. So that's why that's like that. That's why that's like that. Make sense? So this is where we should start to see some volatility. We need to start seeing some emphasis on the downside, especially the last hour. If we keep dropping shit. If we trade above 41.57, I would probably negate the idea. Unless if we come up to sweep that high and then drop lower, then we may get order flow down to lows. But I would want to see price trade up here. Personal opinion. But at the same time, we also haven't really been watching the 1 minute either. We've only kept it on the 5 minute basis. But I would want to see last hour, maybe rally a little bit, and then dump. Today's range really isn't all that big either. From the morning, it's like 25. It's very low. Well, low for today's world. In the 90s, that would have been fucking FOMC or some shit. That would have been FOMC. NASDAQ looks like 1 minute mitigation for buy, but didn't take it after feeling the lack of wick on the 1 minute, but Dow has a ton of 1 minute lows. Does it? Of 1 minute lows? The Dow's sideways. It's gross. Beautiful reaction from that gap. And it does trade lower, but it hasn't, there's been no emphasis on downside. There's been almost no emphasis on downside. We're just right back up again. Know what I'm saying? I mean, it is hitting the sub candle. I wouldn't do anything with that. But we'll see what price does there. I would be more concerned. The reason I'm not watching that is because I'm concerned with us heading into the final hour within that. So that's why I'm not really too concerned with the sub candle here. But I think the next 20 minutes is going to be very important. It only has to go like 4 points and some change to take out this high. So again, the range of today is very low. We did get a reaction, but it's not showing strong emphasis like this. Like this was continuously lower and lower and lower. It had some movement lower, but this is all of like 6 or 7 points right here. Like that's not screaming bearishness. This in here was nice. That's a nice move. But with what we're doing right now, how we're back into this, heading into the final hour, oh, don't know. Yeah, Ali, I agree. I hope people do take advantage because I didn't have somebody to do that for me. Like walking through ideas, price should turn here or it should head here because of this reason. If it doesn't do that, or if it spends too much time or whatever, like I didn't have people to show me that shit. I wish. But nope. So we're back within that big imbalance, and then like now we head into the final hour. So this is a very interesting spot to be in. Yeah, this is a very interesting spot to be in. Still range bound. Very much range bound. Again, time will tell. Probabilities are low, in my opinion. But that's okay. That is okay. We'll probably get some better movement on tomorrow, maybe Wednesday as well. So, final hour. We are now here. So the hour has opened. We're above it. And I want to see, do we take this high or not? That's the question. Ooh, see how Dow's back into that? I wouldn't want that. Would not want that. The NASDAQ, we'll see. Oh, sorry. So we'll see if that high gets taken and then maybe a trade lower. Or not. So if you were in from up here and you just now broke even, I wouldn't be upset about that. I wouldn't be upset. Because what happens if price breaks that high and then keeps going? Then what? Or maybe it even runs a 930 high and then you would have taken a full loss. But a break even to me is better than a loss. You know what I mean? So Dow has taken this high. This one. The NASDAQ has not. The S&P has not. At least at the moment. That could change. But the Dow is higher. The others have not done so yet. But no matter what happens, I need to go outside. I need to get some fresh air. Ugh. Dollar hasn't really done all that much either the last hour. The last hour. Do I have contact to prop firms? No. No. What are you looking for? This would be a lot funner if you could hear the music, just so you know. I want to say I've made a Spotify playlist for music too. I mean, I can always share that with you guys. I have a few different playlists actually. We'll see. We'll see about doing that. If you've signed up for my emails, I've also sent out one or two of them that have music in there as well. All right. So we opened at the hour, we traded higher, and now we're back near the open of that hour again. So at this point, or maybe it might be still slightly early to tell. If we end up taking that high here, again, the more time we spend not going lower, the less probable, in my opinion. So the Dow is like barely reacted off that high. The S&P hasn't gotten there, and the Nasdaq's not doing anything. So could be a frustrating day for shorts, at least. If there was shorts in here, it's probably back at your entry, and I know that's frustrating. We tried to see if we could long down here, but price never came back there either. So at this point, I think I would want to watch a 1 minute time frame. And I'll tell you this, I'm glad I didn't trade today. I'm super glad. You also have a gap at the high end of that imbalance too. Up here. Like right there. At least on a 5-minute time frame. And that might have been one of the higher ones on the 1 minute. See that? One from up here. So yeah, this gap, this one, and this one. And then that 5-minute one is here. So lots of gaps in there. And again, that's why we anticipated for price to come back into this. It's just we never really saw. Maybe you did. I didn't. I didn't see any longs in here. So it looks like it's hard to see. That's not a gap, but that is an imbalance on the 1 minute, and that's like where the current high is. So if we're wrong, we trade higher, then I could see that. Like this one. So days like today, where if you broke even, again, I wouldn't be upset. Would not be upset. Because if you're on the wrong side of the market, what did I say in that video? And what did I say earlier? It's okay to be wrong. Just don't stay wrong. I guess if we had to say, and this honestly looks kind of shitty, but you have a 15-minute gap right here. So price was unable to push past that. And, well, I guess it's seen on a 5-minute too. See, the body's respecting that. And then we've only gone up since then. So there's that. And so obviously the Dow is higher too. Coming back to the high of the 935 candle right there. NASDAQ lagging behind, but we already knew that. The NASDAQ was the weakest one for today, so it still hasn't even made a higher high on the 5-minute time frame, whereas the S&P has. So, we have not traded below the opening of the hour, though. Interesting. Very, very interesting. It's 212. If this is a stop run, it could be, but I really don't know. Do not know. And at this particular point, I probably wouldn't touch it. All right, Lamont, see you tomorrow. we will give it the close of this candle, and then I'll give you my final thoughts, and then we'll hop off here. Yeesh. Well, 41.47 may not be on the table for the final hour. It is only 10 points away, but given what we've done, it could be a stretch. I still think there's a possibility this could be a stop run. If it is, then we would need to see volatility to the downside really, really fast. But I'm not going to touch this. There's still 45 minutes left in the day, and that 47 level is only 10 points away. But honestly, it is hard to say. And the Dow gave us some fucking lows too. Yikes. NASDAQ still not able to get above that high. If we see any dramatic movement lower here on a 1 minute or 5 minute, meaning like if we create a fat imbalance lower, then that may be, like if we completely dominate lower, a small retracement higher may end up being an opportunity to go lower. But just look, not trade advice, be careful, okay? Because we didn't get the reaction we initially wanted. We ended up coming up here for a potential stop run. If it is, we would need to see evidence of that. If we don't get the evidence that it is a stop run, then I wouldn't want to short. And at this point, only 45 minutes left in the day. It's better to just walk away. So if you shorted up here, if I had shorted up here, I'd be break even on the day. And that's it. And then that's it. And the significance of S&P mitigating on the 1 minute inside of Sunday's gap. I don't even have Sunday's gap marked up, to be honest with you. Is this Sunday's gap? It looks that way. The gap within Sunday's gap, that did turn price. Show me this 1 minute mitigation that you're looking at. Show me where that's at. Send a chart to the Telegram, Ali. So still no imbalance. Oh, sorry, I had to stretch. Still nothing worth noting on a 1 minute or the 5 minute time frame that I would be interested in. So yep, this late in the day, I would chalk it up as a not do anything. I see what you did there. That's kind of what I thought, but I just wanted to make sure. You're talking about this. I mean, yes. I mean, yeah, low, high, lower, low. It rebalanced price and then broke structure to the upside. So that would have been a decent mitigation. But me personally, I was looking for these equal lows. So I wouldn't have wanted that for that reason. So, you know, you can't argue with price. You know what I mean? Price went into the mitigation and then rallied for a new high, you know, and I can't argue against that, right? Because price is king. I mean, there's no, the market's never wrong, right? But I'm just telling you personally why I wouldn't have taken that. You know, we're a few minutes ahead of the final hour. We have equal lows down here that I was looking for. So I would have avoided that personally. So that's just my opinion. You know, maybe other traders caught that, not me. Now, if these were equal highs and there was a gap above that and these weren't equal lows, then that would have made me more confident to do that. So that's the justification. I want a one-sided market. I want a fucking rigged market. I want a market that is so likely to go one way that it's impossible to be wrong. Those are the types of moves that I call on Twitter. Equal lows and equal highs, not doing anything. If the equal highs get taken and then it starts running for the lows, that's a high probability short. And that's why the strike rate is high, because of that reason. It's stacking the odds. The only way that I'm wrong is if I interpret it wrong, or if the timing is wrong, then, you know, news might do something different, or I might just be wrong because I missed something, or, you know, like there's always going to be the error of interpretation. And yeah, so that's always going to be relevant. It's always going to be there. But if you only look for setups that are one-sided, very, very one-sided, those are going to be the trades that are fucking beautiful. But we've been here for almost 2.5 hours. But remember what we talked about earlier. What conditions are we in? Well, we're consolidating on the daily time frame, and then we came back into the range here. I said again, well, we're on a 50% on the daily, or consolidation on the daily, and then we're at the 50% on an intraday basis. So in here, there's nothing high probability. And then so what happened? We came into the imbalance. We looked for shorts. Fuck, we screenshotted that to see the before and after, right? So what has transpired since then? We drifted lower. And I talked about that, right? As we went lower, I said, okay, we should start seeing expansion to the downside. We didn't get that. We got expansion higher instead, right? So when we were down here, and I think maybe slightly on the way up, I said I'd probably be break even if it was me. And that today would have been a break even day had we shorted in here, right? That's the reasoning for that. I know the conditions are fucking low probability. They're not today's not the greatest conditions, like for banger setups. I said that this entire time going into today, right? So when you know it's a low probability, are you going to expect banger setups? No. That's why it's easier for me sometimes to go break even faster, or to sometimes leave it open. Today is not a leave it open type of day. Today was not a leave it open type of day. We're still not getting any evidence of strong emphasis to the downside. There's only 35 minutes left in the day. So again, that time constraint that I talk about. Probably not anything to do here. What's here at the bottom? Real quick, and I'll let you guys go. What's here at the bottom? It says time, price, and context. You see that? I added that recently. I think like the other day. Because I tell you guys that all the time. Time, the right setup at the right time with the right context. So we had a decent time and a decent price, but the context wasn't there, at least in my opinion. We knew that the conditions are not the greatest. It's also Monday. Monday's usually not the greatest day for trading. Not always. But so when you know something is lower probability, are you going to expect a lot? No. Did we get a lot to the downside? No. We could have, but we didn't. And again, coming back to what I said and coming back to that video I put out, it's okay to be wrong. Just don't stay wrong. So yes, John, I'm looking for something that is obvious, not something that has to be forced. I'm not trying to force a short right now. I would like to short, but nothing in here is showing me a short. If price traded above this high and we expected that to be a stop run, if we shorted that up here, okay, cool. It should see emphasis to the downside. Are we getting that? Not yet. We're not getting any big jump lower. Look at this shit. Look at this. This strong emphasis to the downside. Okay? We're not seeing any strong emphasis to the downside. You know what I mean? It's not doing anything to that effect. I mean, I don't really think it's showing all that much bullishness, but when in doubt, just stay out. So, you know, if you expect me to come on here or you to come on here and then me call, you know, huge moves every single day, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So real quick, for those of you that took that screenshot earlier, right, of, I think it was a 5-minute. When we screenshotted it in here, as this trade panned out, I talked you through it, right? How this is what we should see. We didn't see that. If we're wrong, break even, so we don't have open risk. No harm, no foul. Right? So what did we miss beforehand? Well, I guess that gap right there, which really was only seen on a 15-minute. And when price went in there, we should have probably seen that. We probably should have saw that first candle respected it, that second candle respected it, and that's probably what we should have did and said, oh shit, okay, probably go break even. I just was managing it on a 5-minute time frame a little bit differently. So it would have been a break even either way. So that whole idea of, well, just set your stop and TP and leave it alone. I don't believe that. I don't believe in that. Personal opinion. So, all right, Andreas, you have a good one. We'll be here same time. No, well, on Friday, same time, but tomorrow we'll be here at 2 p.m. EST. So, again, I wouldn't do anything with this. I would leave it alone. All right. So we'll be back here tomorrow. Talk about more things, watch more price, and have a little bit more fun. All right. So be good. I will see you guys tomorrow.